Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome once again to yet another session under the Storage and Handling Knowledge series, a platform which we have created almost 2 years ago to share our knowledge and our understanding in the intralogistics platform. Month after month, we have been covering various topics as per the requirement of our audiences, as per our understanding, to cover various aspects which are of day-to-day usage in while operating inside warehouses and plants, as far as racking, storage, material handling is concerned. We have covered various topics right from basic concepts to various aspects related to safety, different types of equipment, batteries, chargers, controllers, motors. So anything and everything that we have covered on this platform was with the pure intention of audience being able to take away something which they can use in their day-to-day working life. Today's topic is something which is slightly different from what we have been covering so far, because so far we have been restricting our discussions to the storage and handling related concepts. But today, this is something which is very closely related to this topic of storage and handling. But this is something where we are trying to challenge some malpractices which are being used in some industries or other various industries while operating at heights. So today we are going to talk about safe working and maintenance practices at heights. And what are those practices? What are those equipment? What are the various types of safety features that are there present in that equipment, which make these equipment absolutely suitable and the go-to equipment for working and maintaining at heights. The erstwhile practices of having a cage mounted on a forklift or a reach truck to take a operator up is really unsafe and must not be promoted at any point in time. So today's session is an attempt to try to explain why this is not right and what are the right practices to ensure safety, productivity and efficiency at heights. Today, I am very pleased to introduce a speaker who has been instrumental in introducing this product in our company and taking it to a level where Godrej is considered as one of the players in this particular domain today. We have with us Mr. Sumit Bansal, who is an industrial engineer with an MBA in marketing, having 15 plus years of experience in various functions, which relates sales, service, branch handling, marketing, and he has been instrumental in also promoting Godrej in the digital platform, where we are one of the well-known brands now in the digital and as well as the offline space. All credits to Sumit. As I mentioned, he has been instrumental in introducing this concept to our division and taking it to the next level. We could not have had anybody better than Sumit taking us through the best practices of operating at heights. Before I hand over to Sumit to take us through this very interesting presentation, we would request all our audiences to please continue posting their questions in the chat box. And while posting your questions, please write your name and your company's name so that in case we are not able to cover your questions during the allocated time, we are able to get back to you separately to answer your questions. With that, without wasting any further time, I would request Sumit to please come over and take us through this interesting piece of information. Sumit, all yours.
Thank you, Abhishek. Thank you for all the audience which has come live today in the topic of safe working and maintenance heights. As Abhishek mentioned that we have been doing various series over the last couple of years on mainly related to material handling equipment. So we thought safety is important at the floor as well as at the heights also. Somehow in our country, still we are using very old and unsafe practices when it comes to working in particular heights. So we thought that it's again one of our responsibilities to increase safety at the workplace so that the people who are working in the factory and the factories are safe. So I would start my presentation. Are you able to? Screen is not moving.
Sumit, you are audible and visible, but the screen is right now frozen.
Yeah. So, but I'm
Maybe
going.
you can unshare and reshare. I think that should solve the problem.
Yeah, now I'm able to do that. Is it okay now?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
we are on the next slide now.
Yeah, sorry for that. So, these are few photographs you might all have seen, you know, when you see people who are working on particular heights. So if you see all these six pictures, people are working, but they don't have any safety gadgets available with them that in case of any eventuality that they are safe. So the one at the right on the top, he doesn't have any nearby instrument or something to guard on that if some rain or some heavy winds flow in. So these are the usual visuals we have seen, you know, over a period of time when we see people who are working in construction sites, in warehouses, in factories, or even at our homes. Now, people also use ladders, scaffoldings, and even we have seen material handling equipment being used to work on particular heights. So when we say ladders and scaffoldings, are they safe? They are safe on a particular heights. And when we say at a particular height, it should be geared with a particular safety guards when you're working on a heights which are greater than 7 to 8 meters. What happens, what are the potential hazards, you know, that if you're using a ladder, as I said, it is safe, but and scaffolding is also safe, but does it has a potential hazard, and are there better ways of doing a work at a particular height? So when you're working on a ladder, okay, there is no control with a person who is working at a particular height, and similarly for the scaffolding also. So there are chances which has happened that people working on ladders or scaffoldings has fallen, and or the scaffolding has collapsed, or there is a slippage because these particular piece doesn't have a safety things available with them which ensures that the people who are working on those heights are safe. So there are many risks involved, and if we see a global uh, uh, report, it says that 28% fatal accidents happens when the people are falling from the heights, and most of them are happening when they're working on ladders and scaffoldings. So though it's a very common visual of seeing people working in scaffoldings, but there are much better ways how you could do the work on those heights. Then as the material handling industry came on and the people started moving, keeping the loads at particular heights. So we have seen that a lot of factories and warehouses are using material handling equipment. But material handling equipment is meant for handling the material, not for the man. But it is being used as a cage and people feel that they are safe. And I would not like to name a couple of companies, but even some of our own customers have used it and they had some very bad experiences because material handling equipment is made at a particular height with a stability keeping in center of gravity in mind. But when the person who is working at a particular height and is moving in and around the cage, the stability of the truck comes at a risk. So I'll run a short video to just make you see that what happens at the right hand corner. So this is a forklift truck. The balance got off, or the center of gravity got off, because the speed at which the forklift was running is not recommended when you're working at particular height. So fortunately the person is saved, but it's a very risky proposition. So we should not use any material handling equipment while putting a person on the top. So is there any alternative? So we did one study. So I'll play a small video which will show how the traditional people work and what is the solution available for that. So first video is that, is there any life without power tools? So how people are doing traditionally the same work. So you can see there are two people who are trying to put a ladder, because the size of the ladder is fixed, the space is a constraint, and they are trying to change a tube light on the top. Second, we have equipment which is doing the same job. So instead of two people, the one person is working, and the time required to do the same job is 1/3, and with a full safety. So you can see, how small aisle is, and they are able to go to a particular height and do the work. So this helps to have increase in productivity with less manpower and with increased safety at a factory location. So going forward, we will talk about what are the different aerial work platforms are. So these all equipment are called aerial work platforms. Some also called as scissor lifts or boom lifts. But on a broad classification, we can say it aerial work platforms. They come as mast. It can go up through scissors. It is also classified as booms, and it also classified as crawlers. So over a period of this presentation, we will go on a broad level that what these type of equipment are and what are the safety features available in these equipment. So first we talk about mast. So it can come with single mast or double mast. So depending upon the mast, a single or double, the capability of equipment taking one or two persons is available on this. It can be AC powered or battery operated. So when you are moving up, either it is sourced through a AC socket or a battery which is fitted into the equipment, and it can go up to 16 meters. So these are lightweight because these are manual equipment, and you can transport from one location to other with the help of one or two people. So this is the simplest form of aerial work platforms which are available. Then, as I said that we have two types, single and double. So the capacity varies because if you're taking two people, the machine should have a capacity to take two people on the top, and plus these machines have outriggers. So in order to stabilize the machine at the platform. So for these type of machines, you need to have a flat surface so that equipment can be stored in a condition that when the people are moving up, there is no movement on the machine. That is the reason it has outriggers on the four sides of the equipment. Then there are masses which are self-propelled. So when we talk about self-propelled, these machines doesn't need outriggers. They have their battery, the traction as well as the movement on the top happens through a battery source. So again, there are different heights available. It comes from 5 meters, 7 meter up to 6 meters. And you have a articulated boom as well as a straight boom. Now, the if the working height is at a place where you can reach directly, so people generally use either a mast or a scissor lift. But if there is a situation or a place where you can't reach directly to the location, then we used a outreach or a articulated trigger or boom in order to reach that particular height. So these are the two self-propelled masts which comes in this category. Then comes the scissors. So scissors again are available manual and self-propelled. And the power at which we can go on the top is either through battery or AC power. So these equipment are available working on a flat surfaces. Even these equipment are available if you want to work on a construction site which have a rough terrain capability. So depending upon the application, you have different heights, you have different capacities to go on. So going in scissor lifts, as I mentioned, it has a manual as well as a battery operated machine. So when you have a manual, so you have a outriggers. So if you see in the video, the person is putting up the outriggers in order to make the machine stabilized. And once it's done, he moves up. So this is a level indicator which shows that the machine is stable, and then it goes up, and the controls of the machine are available with the operator in the basket, as well as in emergency it can be controlled from the machine in the downwards also. So it has simple drive of going up and going down. So you can see the movement of the scissors is very slow, and it goes on the top. The control is in the hand of the person who is going up, and similarly he's coming down with pressing a button on the downside. So these machines can be used for cleaning and maintenance at your workplaces. Then there are self-propelled machines. Again, the height and the capacities vary, and generally what happens when someone buys a machine, okay, and it is taken it that it can be used internal as well as external environment, but that is not the case because the machines which are made for indoors has a limited capacity to withstand with the winds. But for a machine for a machines which are meant for outdoor category, they have a better resistance towards the winds. So one should be absolutely very clear when they're purchasing the machine that whether it's to be used for outdoor or indoor. And there are certain machines which are basically meant for outdoor and can be used indoor as well as outdoor. So these machines can be used for maintenance work, cleaning work, and even cycle counting in the warehouses. So in a similar category, there is a machine where can you also use a picking. So you can see a small video that how this person in a spare parts division is going on the machine, picking up the material from the rack, putting it down. So the capacity of this machine is about 200 kgs. So taking consideration the weight of the person is up to 120 kg, the tray is made for 80 kg. So this can be used as a multi-purpose machine for order picking, as well as for cycle counting, as well as for the maintenance work. So now this person is moving and he will put the material to the other rack. So now in the scissor application, what you have seen is that when the person is going on the top, he can move, along the side of the machine. But there are machines available where you can go parallel to the basket, which helps you to work in the warehouses, because in the warehouses there it's not very convenient to have a very long aisles where you can work along the length of the scissors. So this particular scissor lift helps you to work in very narrow aisles, and it can go up to 12 meters depending upon the width and the capacity required. So this is a very common application for warehouses. Then you have rough terrain scissor applications which are used for construction sites. So if you see that these machines have a rough terrain capability, plus they have a high capacity up to 800 kgs, and they can be used on from both the sides. The extension happens on both the sides for this particular machines, so that when you're working on a construction site, you don't want to move the machine again and again. And in order to have a high skill, you can also do outriggers. The other advantage of this is where you can use it for outriggers. So when you see power, it's that's the same machine. So these are very rugged, strong machines, and as the video shows, it's working in outside as in the rates in the event if something happens. So that gives enough time for a person to come down and so the machine will stop the work. Then from scissors, we are moving to boom lifts. So boom lifts are again divided into two types. One is an articulated boom lift, and other is a telescopic boom lift. So when we say telescopic boom lift, the boom comes from one location and moves directly towards its destination. So it's a single piece. But when we say articulated boom lift, it can articulate so that it requires less space in order to reach to a particular location where a person needs to do the maintenance work. Again, the controls of machine are available with the operator who is working at a particular height, as well as in an emergency, if something happens, the equipment can be or the basket can be brought down to the normal or the stored condition from the machine itself. So if you see, it is available up to 40 meters, and it can carry a one person or two persons for doing the job. Now in this particular machine, the reach is also very important, because you want to go to a particular height, plus you want to reach. So when there is any obstruction of doing a maintenance work where the scissors can't go, so this is the best option. And to do the maintenance work where you can't approach directly. And these turrets can rotate, and all the functionalities of the machine are in the hands of the operator. Even the basket, you can move plus and minus 70 degree, and the level of the platform when you're operating, okay, it always remains parallel, so that there is no adjustment required. So that is again a safety in this particular equipment, that you don't need to adjust your baskets. It is done automatically. So this is a small video. It will show, how in a very compact space these machines can work and can go up to 18 meters in reach. So it can turn in a very tight radius. Now the person is taking it on the top, and he will adjust his position depending upon where it has to work. So this is very apt equipment for outdoor maintenance at your works, and in all these machines you can also take certain tools, welding tools and maintenance tools to keep, and it can be used while working on the heights. And when you're working, you can even move the machine. There is no need that you have to come back at the stored condition and then only you can operate the machine. So this is about articulate boom lift. Then comes the crawlers. So when you are working on a heights, it is not always possible that you have the surfaces which are solid and they are even. So for those places, you have either track mounted platforms, which are also called spiders, and they can be put up in a way that if you see in this photograph also, the two legs are on the road and two legs are on the hill. So they have an auto adjustment, and they can be used where the floors are soft, and they have automatic out triggers, and they are available on a track. So track can be a rubber mounted for a flooring where you can't take metal chains because it will destroy the wooden floor, so, or it can create an impression on the floor. So it is available with rubber as well as the metallic crawlers. So this can be used. You might have seen this is used widely in institutes for indoor as well as outdoor usage. So now coming to the safety features. So we have seen the broad classification that we have mass type, we have scissors, we have articulated, and then we have crawlers. So when we talk about when you're working at a height, it is very important that all these equipment are safe. So all these machines have an overload protection. So if a particular machine says it has a capacity of 200 or 220 kgs, so it will not allow a person to, it will give a trigger that you have reached to a particular level and you can't move the machine. So again, depending upon the standards, there are certain standards which only alarms the operator, but in certain, it stops the machine that it will not work, and operator cannot overrule that safety feature. Okay, and then you have outriggers, and there is a level gauge also. You can yourself see that whether the machine is properly stored or not. Then in case of any eventuality, if the machine gets stuck or something happens, there is an emergency lowering button available for stopping the machine and bringing the person to the ground level. And when we go to scissors, so scissors, there is scissor protection. So when in an eventuality when a person is coming down, if someone is standing near the seizure, so it gives an alarm so that there is no sharing of body parts happen if someone is standing and is not aware that something is happening at a particular height. Then you have a porthole protection that if in a floor, if there are any small holes or portholes, so it gives a stability to the machine so that that it can prevent of any ducts which are there on the grounds. So it's basically adding a safety while you're working at a height of 40 meters and 60 meters. And there is an inclinometer also that if in at any case, because these machines cannot take too much of a gradient, and if it happens that you're working on a particular floor and it has an inclination, if it reaches a particular height, the machine will not move. You can only descend. You cannot move up, because if you move up, the CG will again change and there is a possibility of an accident. But in these machines, what will happen that you don't go up, rather you go, you can only come down. So this is a very important safety feature on the machines. So again, all these machines, as I mentioned in manual and mast, they have overload sensors. Similarly, in seizures also, you have overload sensor and there is emergency lowering. So all these safety features helps you to ensure that the person who is working at a particular height is safe and is working with the productivity and efficiency. So when you're working, then there are, in order to save them, to putting the machine into narrow places. So you have guide rails which can be stored down so that you can take the machine through narrow doorways. Plus, when you're working at a height, so there is an anti-slip flooring available so that when the person is working, he should be properly having a traction with the floor so that something doesn't go wrong. And even there is a protection so that if there is for any obstruction is there, it doesn't harm the machine. So there is a protective covering on that. And the other important thing is that because these are battery operated as well as AC powered, when you're working at a particular height and you want to track the machine, so the speed of the machine reduces drastically. So it is again a very important safety feature which is required so that the machine doesn't run at a very high speed. Plus, if the machine is on battery is on charging, okay, so you can't use the machine. So there had been certain instances where the machine was put on battery charging and the people starting the machine and something happened. So it has now become a safety feature that when it is working, it's on charging, then it should not move. And again, in the boom lift, you have a load sensor. And as I mentioned that you have automatic cutoff in the batteries. And even if there is a low voltage in the machine, and if the battery goes down, but there is a provision available that one can come down. So in the crawler, there is a protection to the engine, and then there is a protection to the all the components, because when you're working at height, it is a possibility that something can go wrong and can hit the machine, and all the outriggers which comes on the crawlers are automatic. So once you put the machine on use, so till the outriggers doesn't find that the equipment is properly stabilized, it will not allow the upward movement of the equipment. So these crawlers can move in 359-degree rotation, and it is, as I mentioned, it is available on rubber as well as it can move into narrow aisles. And these are mainly used in stadiums and in hotels where you don't want to spoil the flows while working with this equipment, because the boom lift, what I mentioned earlier, they are very heavy weight. So one can weigh up to 6 tons to 8 tons, but these machines are comparatively 1/3 the weight of those machines. So what I would, at the end would say that we should always choose the right product for the right application. Though we have showcased that different products are available, but depending upon the requirement, the heights, one should never compromise on the safety while working on heights, because it not only adds to safety, but it also adds to the productivity and efficiency as well. So thank you for the patient hearing. And if there are any questions, I would love to take that.
Right, Sumit, thank you so much. I think that was a very, very insightful presentation, and lot of queries would have been cleared that in terms of how is it possible to work safely at heights without really going in for options which are customized options by putting forklift like carriages on forklifts and all that. How can we go away from those bad practices and adopt these good practices which are already present in the industry? It's just a matter of having that awareness and adopting these right practices. We have quite a few questions, Sumit, so I'll uh, sort of share them with you one by one. So the first question that we have got is it required to have a full body harness while using scissor lifts as per the safety protocols?
So I think that's a very good question. Most of the people believe that when we are working on a scissor lift, there is no need of a harness, safety harness. But I would suggest, say, it is very important to have a double safety. So whenever any person who is working on a particular height, okay, should always wear a complete safety card while working on these machines, because it will only add to the safety of a person. So there is no harm of being doubly safe, then be sorry later.
Right. So I just have a follow-through question. You have covered that in your safety related slides, but apart from harness, like what sort of safety interlocks, if you could just explain, are there in access equipment that doesn't allow maybe the gate to open or the person to step out accidentally? So what sort of safety checks are there when the platform is raised at a height?
Okay. So as of now, there is no check that if person wants to move out of the basket, he can be prevented. Okay, because that is a physical movement. But there is a guide rail which covers the basket from all the four sides up to a sufficient height that the person cannot fall down. Okay, so that is point number one. And when a person is working at a particular height, if he is moving in a place where the safety is getting compromised, so that could be when you extend a platform. Generally, most of the manufacturers, the capacity reduces. So when I say the capacity reduces, it means that from if the capacity is 250 kg, it will reduce to, let's say, 160 or 170 kg. So in that type of a scenario, the machine will give a alarm. Okay, but there are machines available where you can use the full capacity. Full capacity means that if the capacity is 250 kg, even if you are extending the platform to 1 meter or 1.2 meter, depending upon the capability of the machine, the total the total capacity of the machine remains the same. So that is again a safety feature, because sometimes what happens that when you're working at in a closed platform, you are not aware that when you extend the platform, you have actually increased the weight. So the machines give a alarm to the operator that you don't have to operate. Okay, but the machines which are certified, I would say, which are CE certified with latest EN 280 2013 norms, they also prevent the any usage of a machine if it is going beyond the safety protocol. So what does that mean? That those machines give alarm, as well as if someone wants to overdo that alarm or to counter that alarm, it is not allowed. You can only descend. you cannot do any further activity on those machines.
Right, right. So the next question that we have is that till how many meters? It's a very interesting question actually. Like, is it safe to use ladders and scaffolding? Like, I mean, is there any guideline that up to this height a ladder is safe for, and beyond that only we should use equipment? Like, how do we? How would you
So
like to answer that?
So unfortunately, we don't have guidelines in our country that when we should start using the scissor lifts or the aerial work platforms. But in the Western world, if you're working more than 5 meters of height, okay, it is not the ladders are not to be used. Okay, that is a principle there. But in our country, we don't have guidelines, and again, because sorry to say, but we don't give too much importance to the safety, and we believe that the ladders are economical option or a cheaper option. Okay, but once that accident happens, then only we realize that even a cheap thing can become too costly. And
Right.
as far as scaffoldings is concerned, it is a safe option. It is being used abroad also. It is being used in India also, but it depends upon application to application. So if it's a regular application where you are doing a construction work, then it is you use a scaffoldings. But if you're doing any maintenance or intermediate work, okay, then putting up a scaffolding at particular height becomes very expensive, very time consuming. Then you get you need a aerial work platforms to do that particular work.
Okay. Now, a very general question has come in that in case we have to sort of identify the right equipment for working at heights, what are
Mhm.
the broad parameters that we should like look at broadly before we select any equipment in very broad thumb rule types?
Okay. So first of all, one should be very clear that at what height they want to work with. So these Caesar lifts or the aerial work platforms are classified with a working height, okay, or a platform height. So when someone says a platform height, generally you take a length of or the height of the person is 2 meters, and you say that okay, if the platform height is 12 meters, it means the working height is 14 meters. So different manufacturers are using different terminologies. So one should be very clear that till what height they want to go. Second, they should be clear that what is the aisle width available with them in which they want to operate. So there are equipment available which can go to a particular height, but they're broad enough. Okay, so you need to choose a equipment whose width is less, but it can go to higher heights. Then secondly, you need to see that whether there is any direct reach to the part where you want to work with. If it's a direct part available, then one goes for the scissors or the mast. But if the approach is not there, you have to either go for telescopic or articulated boom lift. The other important thing is the flooring, because these equipment are very sensitive to the gradients and very sensitive to the uneven of the surface. So the surface should be good enough so that these machines can work on. But if you have a rough terrain surface or you have a very loose soil, then you have an option of going towards crawlers or spiders in order to what do you call do the job. And the other important thing is that when you do a work on the job, you can take your vacuum cleaners, you can take the welding machine. So there is or even a compressed air inlet, so that when you're working at that particular height, you can use all these tools in order to maintain or service the building, or maybe you can say there are hydraulic outlets which goes on the or the electrical fittings which goes on the warehouses and factories. So all these can be done by these particular equipment.
Right. Actually, whatever you just explained, there are two questions, even though they have come sort of later, but I would like to ask them straight away because they are in a way related to what you just answered. So can these aerial work platforms or scissor lifts be used in warehouses with rough floors? You just spoke about crawlers being
Mhm.
used in rough floors. So if the application demands a scissor lift or or a aerial work platform, but the warehouse does not have a good flooring or flat flooring, what would be like your recommendation?
So I would say that rough, it's very relative term. Okay. Sometimes the people who are working in very good warehouses, they find a very common surface as a rough surface. So it would be better if one can see the floor and suggest. Okay, but the floor should not be broken. I would say if it's rough means that there are small patches, it doesn't matter because the wheels on aerial work platforms for a height greater than 10 meters are big enough to take that. But having said that, it is always better to have a application study done and then recommend a particular equipment.
Right. And second question is also related to what you have already answered, but maybe you can just reiterate that. Is there any provision of power outlet to use electrical tools at height? You just
Yes,
said that there are power
yes,
provision.
yes. Yeah, it is available. It is available.
Okay. Now, the next question is related to today we are talking about not using carriages and sort of some sort of operator systems on reach trucks and forklifts. But this question is very specific to that.
Mhm.
In case we want to use a reach truck for doing similar application, up to what height can we take an operator by having a carriage, 9 meter or below and all that? So I think we
So
don't recommend that. I mean,
yeah, so my recommendation is that this particular equipment is not meant for taking a person to a particular height. So there are specific equipment like aerial work platforms which should be used. See, because what happens, it's a very normal thing that we are doing this for last 5 years, 10 years, 12 years, okay. But one incident, because it's not a safe practice, it takes a lot of toll if some fatal accident happens. So in simple words, I would not recommend using this equipment for taking a person on the top.
right. So now this is Sumit, an area which has always remained a bit of confusion or lacks clarity in terms of these equipment being used for picking applications.
Mhm.
So this question is very specific to that can scissor lifts be used for picking? If yes, what is the maximum lift height and tonnage? And what sort of SKUs can be used in the picking application in case these are recommended for picking application?
Yeah. So during my presentation, I did mention that these equipment can be used for picking. And so one model I specifically showed where there was a tray. It can be used for carrying a capacity of 80 kgs. And then there are equipment available specially designed for warehouses where the platform of the uh, scissor lift open parallel to the warehouse. So what happens that a person who is on the platform can pick up the material from the warehouse, from a rack, and can take it on the floor of the basket. So the capacity of the basket ranges from 250 to 500 to 800 kgs depending upon product to product. So if we see if there are two people on that particular basket or one person on the basket deducting his weight, the rest weight can be used in order to pick up that material from the racks.
Right. Now the next question is about the power
And
source. Sorry.
And
Yeah,
Abhishek,
please.
I would like to add that this equipment can also be used for cycle counting also. See, because we see that when we that people use ladders or they go from one rack to another, again they have to come down. Okay. and then they again go up and then do a cycle counting. But in this machine, a single person who is at a particular height moves up, down, forward, okay, and he can do all the cycle counting either through manually or maybe with the RFID or whatever technology they have, which is directly connected with WMS of the warehouse. So this becomes a very important equipment which can be used for maintenance as well as for warehouse operations of this type.
Right. So the next question is related to the power source, engine or motor or battery powered. So is the power source based on the design of the equipment as such, or is it based on application, that if it is inside the warehouse, it will be battery operated, and if it is outside, it will be diesel operated, engine operated? Uh, how is it like? How are these equipment classified in terms of power source?
Yeah. So the equipment are available in battery, AC power as well as diesel operated. So the equipment which are meant for construction sites or for outdoor applications which are large enough, they are mainly coming in IC engine category. But the equipment which are meant to work for warehouses, indoor applications, factories, they come with a battery powered. But there are certain equipment available because someone wants to have a machine in a construction site, whether when he's working inside, it should be battery, and when he's working out, it should be available diesel. So the dual power source in a single equipment is also available.
Right. Right. So, just a follow-through question from my side. Is lithium-ion battery available in these equipment? Lithium-ion battery option?
So Abhishek, because these equipment are not used, very regularly. Generally, the lithium-ion batteries comes where you have a continuous usage, you have to replace the battery. Okay, but these machines are not used continuously. But having said that, a lot of manufacturers are working towards coming up with the lithium-ion solutions. I would not be, I think I'm not aware if someone has actually already started pitching lithium-ion batteries, but eventually I think it will come. But apart from lead acid battery, a lot of people also use a gel battery in this.
Okay. Okay. Now, the next question is related to a specific requirement, that is there any manual or semi-manual equipment available which can work up to 5 to 6 meter of height and not compromise on safety, which is a concern with ladders and other similar equipment?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, that there are manual equipment as well as self-propelled equipment. So manual machines are those where you push the machine, okay? But the operation of scissors happens either through AC powered or through a battery powered. So those machines can work up to 12 meters, 13 meters. And when it comes to economy, it is much lesser in price, because self-propelled machine will definitely cost much more than what a manual AC powered or battery powered equipment will come to. So I believe the question was more of about the price of the equipment in terms, where you can get a machine which is safe enough, but at a lesser price so that they can do the job.
Right.
So the answer is yes, they are available.
Okay. So the next question, I think it's a follow-through question which is coming on the picking discussion that we were having. That is it inbuilt with some weighing scale where the person knows what sort of weight is being carried, or can it be customized to any picking application?
So to be very honest, this is the first time someone has asked for a weighing scale, but these equipment doesn't come with a weighing scale. But we can check and can come specific to this particular. Abhishek, we can come back to that particular person after checking.
Okay.
Yeah.
The next is regarding any special operator license required for like operators using these equipment.
No, no, no. as of now, there is no specific license required, but we do provide a training to the operator and the staff, for maintenance staff also, because this is not a very complicated machine to use, but still it is very important to have certain things kept in mind while we're operating these machines. And we have seen that when people go up to 12 to 14 meters in this particular equipment, they start suddenly feeling unsafe. Okay, but there is nothing to worry. I myself have gone up to 20-22 meters. Even I was very frightened. But as you start working, it's just 3-4 days you find it very suitable. Okay, but for the first time, because when you see around you, you are at such a high height. Okay, you feel a bit afraid, but these are complete safe equipment.
Right. So, Sumit, I think we have answered all the questions that we had, and we are well within our time limit also. Rather, we have been able to wrap up the session well in time, rather much ahead of time, I think, which would be very useful for all the attendees. And the second thing is this recording will also be available with everybody if somebody would like to go through that. So this 1 hour capsule will become a really very useful input for anybody who would want to work more safely and with more productivity at heights. So with that, I would request all the audience to please fill up the feedback form, which would be present in this chat window, as well as when we send to you our acknowledgements for attending this webinar. In that also, we'll be carrying the link of the feedback form. I would request you to please fill up that feedback form. Let us know how you like the webinar. What is it that you would like to hear from us in forthcoming webinars, how we can improve. And that would really help us and keep us motivated in keeping on bringing these sessions to all of you. So with that, I would like to sincerely thank Sumit for spending his time in taking us through this important topic. And we'll be there back with you next month with another interesting topic. With that, we sign off for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.